Hello and welcome to Paladin Gaming. We are in the system map of Antares in the as depicted in Slaves of Chaos, the first Between the Ashes, the first Between the Ashes campaign of the anthology. So we are just going to. Oh wow! It even scrolls around. Although I think I can't quite see everything. So we'll start the inner system and we'll start the stars and go from there. Antares Major and Minor. The binary star of the Antares system. Antares Major is a supergiant star, and Antares Minor is its smaller companion. The two stars are bridged by the dangerous Aquilae corridor. The corridor of solar winds between Antares Major and Minor is hazardous to space travel, and the Antares Bureau of Space Travel is closed to civilian spaceflight. Sorry. So, we've done that. Now let's go to Antares I. Rudd's Landing. The closest planet to Antares Major and Minor, this rocky world is bathed in solar radiation and heat, making it uninhabitable. The only Terran-built structures are automated mines, built deep underground to shelter them from the sun's heat. Close. Going out through the system, the inner belt. The innermost of Antares II asteroid belts. As it is resource poor, it is largely ignored by miners and other commercial interests. Which would make it a perfect hideout for our smugglers. Antares II. There's an image of a destroyer in orbit. Port Jing. This rocky, sun-baked world is home to 10.2 million Terran colonists and scattered mining industries. Its largely pro-GTA government welcomes the intrepid battlegroup's arrival in system, hoping that Admiral Poe's intervention can restore the safe flow of minerals exports to nearby systems and salvage its economy. Port Jing's low population and pro-GTA stance making it an outlier in wider Antaresian politics. Zooming in. Wow, there's so much detail. So that's the same description as before. This is its moon mod. Port Jing's sole moon with a population of 0.8 million, so 800,000. Like its parent world, it is a mining center whose economy has suffered from the post-Great War economic crash and smugglers' predations. Rimsey Station, an orbital dock which handles metals traffic outbound from Port Jing. 3 weeks ago, Rimsey was attacked by an unusually daring smuggler raid. Fighters from Novograd Station barely repelled the attack before the smugglers could do worse than pilfer a few cargo containers. So that's not smuggling, that's piracy. GTC Nimrod. Doesn't get a description, it's just a cruiser. I think you at least tell us whether it's Fenris or Leviathan. And Tartarus Penitentiary. The highest security prison in Antares, where the worst criminals in the system are locked up. The post-Great War crime wave of smuggling and piracy has stretched Tartarus' holding capacity to its limits, making its already notorious conditions even worse. There's the back button. Okay, so that was Antares II. We have a jump node to Beta Aquilae, intersystem jump node. GTA control. Antares system GTA control. I'm sorry, that was. So, Novograd Station is the next orbit out. The sole military outpost in Antares operated directly by the GTA federal government. Novograd was built to reinforce Detiula Station's defense of the Vasuda Node in 2329 when Antares was a frontline system in the Terran-Vasudan War. Positioned in one of the system's Lagrangian points, its presence earns it the resentment of the Antaresian particularist malcontents. Its 4 fighter squadrons are primarily tasked with overseeing traffic at the Vasuda jump node. So, Antares III also has a warship in orbit. Cidelante, this beautiful blue gas giant has 3 moons. Its sole claim to fame fame are its frequent shimmer storms, meteorological events in the upper atmosphere which produce a singularly beautiful display of color, especially during a full sunset. Local artist Robert Min won the 2311 Aspiro Award with a masterwork painting of a large shimmer storm. Antares III is home to many tourist-centered viewing platforms and Gulnara Elite's vacation habitats. Alright, so that's just a... an extract from the earlier. Jewel Station. This multi-billion credit orbital habitat is a vacation home for the elite of Antares Elite. Senators, CEOs, and celebrities can bask in the beauty of Cidalante's shimmer storms from the comfort of the most luxurious facilities Antaresian money can buy. Viewing platform P1E. This station is positioned to afford an excellent view of Cidalante's spectacular shimmer storms. It is a common vacation destination for middle-class tourists from inside and outside the system, and it has earned a reputation as the system's party central. Woo. Midnight and Jacqueline seem to share an orbit. Midnight. This small moon takes its name from its unusual orbital cycle, which keeps it in a state of near-perpetual eclipse. It is uninhabited. Jacqueline. The largest of Atlantic's 3 moons. Pre-Terran Vasudan war plans for its large-scale colonization were sharply curtailed by the outbreak of war. Currently supports a small colony of 25,000 stubborn holdouts who support themselves with hydroponic fruit farms. Moving out in the orbits. Shell. Shy, I'm sorry. One of the 3 moons of Cidalante. Shy was the focus of a half-completed private terraforming project, canceled when the Terran Vasudan War began in 2322. The GTC something or other, Duquesne, is in orbit, and the Deschanel Pilots Academy. National Pilots Academy. This military station is the main training center for the Antares System Guards Pilot Corps. It was named after a local hero who died in the Battle of Telania during the Terran Vasudan War. Alright, that's Antares III. Moving out in the orbit. So we got the jump node to Ribos, intersystem jump node. And Antares IV. New Oceania. This blue gas giant is the center of Terran civilization in Antares, thanks to its location in Antares' habitable zone and its rare gas reserves. The Gulnara moon, the center of trade and government in Antares, orbits New Oceania. New Oceania. The gas giant itself is host to massive gas mining industries whose harvests are funneled through 2 main gas refineries, Koros and Sendamirs, which have their own entries here. The Koros refinery, one of 2 major refineries. Alright. GTC Logarain. Bentley Gas Storage is a storage platform holds raw gas canisters mined from New Oceania's atmosphere. Free refinements, apparently. And Sandomir is the other of the 2 major. Yeah, they have the same description. And Gulnara? The capital of the Antares system and home to over 70 million inhabitants. As the only terrestrial object within Antares' habitable zone, Gulnara has been the most heavily populated world in Antares ever since the first Terran colonial efforts in 2302. New Shanghai, the planetary capital, is the center of Antares' government. Gulnara is a hotbed of Antaresian particularist agitation against the GTA's recent policies. The Gulnara Research Station, which we may remember from the prologue. A private research station specializing in geological and historical studies. The GTC Zeitgeist orbits the moon, while the Logarain apparently patrols the refinery orbit. The Nugan Messier Weather Station. One of Gulnara's many orbitals, Nugan Messier plays a key role in managing the capital moon's weather patterns. And Antares Station. I'm sorry. Logarain's in that orbital. Okay. So there's 2 cruisers in orbit of Golnara. And finally Antares Station. This Arcadia installation will become the center of Antaresian government and trade upon its planned completion in 2336. A multi-billion credit investment, Antares Station is the capstone of Governor Hirako's campaign to attract legitimate interstellar commerce and reverse Antares' economic slump. It has come under fire from Antaresian particularists who see it as a waste of taxpayer funds and as a symbol of unwanted foreign involvement in Antares' politics and economy. Alright, that's it for Antares IV. Now we got, in between those orbitals, we have jump nodes to Betelgeuse. Unstable. Travel prohibited by GTA Bureau of Intersystem Commerce. Going around. Detiula Station. An abandoned military outpost. It looks like a rump Arcadia. Where's the back half? And 2 docking platforms. Constructed to guard the Vasuda Node at one of Antares' Lagrange points in 2328, when Antares was a frontline system in the Terran-Vasudan War. After the Great War, the GTA government could no longer afford to maintain 2 large and outdated fortifications deep within Terran-Vasudan borders, and abandoned the station. The jump node to Vasuda. GTA fleet units police all traffic through this node in light of the massive Vasudan refugee influx into Antares following the Great War. As the only node in the Antares located in the Lagrangian point, this node is an outlier of subspace physics. And to Beta Cygni, intersystem jump node. So if it's at a Lagrange point, so is Detiula Station. Is Detiula Station at the node? Alright, Antares V. Umbala, an icy resource-poor world with a population of 2.3 million in underground colonies. Many net rumors still surround the loss of the military transport GTFR Fitzgerald in the low planetary orbit in 2330. Same description. Moons, Serpedon. A cold ball of ice and rock home only to automated mining industries. Hesperia. This moon houses a booming subterranean colony of 7 million Terran and Vasudan citizens. The success of recent pro-Gov-sponsored terraforming efforts has made Hesperia one of the few success stories in the grim economic picture of modern Antares. It has a weather station and a Vasudan cruiser. Clydesdale Weather Station, built in late 2334 to manage Hesperia's weather patterns, Clydesdale Station plays a key role in the ongoing successful terraforming efforts on Hesperia. Zinthus, ball of ice and dust on uninhabitable polar ice caps are a prime source of drinking water for the rest of Antares. And Thanatos. This frozen ball of ice and dust lives up to its grim name. During the Terran-Vasudan War and the Great War, its isolation and foreboding climate inspired many local rumors of secret GTI bases and mysterious projects. We'll see about that. Probably. That's the kind of Easter egg you don't put in there. So that was Antares V, right? Yes. Moving out to the next planetary orbital. And the outer belt. The outermost of Antares II asteroid belts. In 2331, during the Terran-Vasudan War, it was the site of a running battle between the GTD Vienna and PVD Assurance. Antares VI. Thanet, this large, cold, rocky world hosts a population of 7 million Terrans and 44 million Vasudans living in expensive, climate-controlled underground cities. Expensive or expansive? Expensive, okay. Much of its Vasudan population originally settled in Antares as part of a massive PVN land grab during the early years of the Terran-Vasudan War, only for the system to be fully recaptured by the Terrans in 2327. Thanet's political and economic prestige is second only to Golnara thanks to its population, mining industry, and many civilian orbitals, though the loss of Sol has halted further subsurface and orbital construction. After the Great War, it was judged to be a politically expedient dumping ground for post-war refugees. Thanks to the construction freeze, much of the largely Vasudan refugee population currently ekes out a subsistence-level existence in a number of ad hoc orbital refugee camps. Forcing them, yeah. Camp Angel, that'll be one of them. And Angel Refuge Station. This ramshackle orbital camp made of repurposed cargo containers is home to 871 displaced refugees, 87% Vasudan and 13% Terran. The Camp Angel was originally erected as a stopgap facility to house refugees from Vasuda during the Great War. The GTA government's overstretched financial and logistical situation makes it unlikely that its residents will find a permanent home anytime soon. Its inhabitants eke out a subsistence lifestyle in cramped conditions, fearful of being raided by smugglers and distrustful of federal and system governments which have neglected them. Midwinter Station. This bioengineering facility, owned by Mensa Biotech, develops new engineered bacteria for use in planetary terraforming. The post-Great War need for living space has spurred new planetary colonization throughout Terran and Vasudan systems, and Mensa stands to profit handsomely from pro-Gov-sponsored frontier colonial ventures. Detiula Station. Originally erected as a military supply base during the Vasudan invasion of Antares in 2324, Detiula Station is now Antares' most prominent Vasudan civilian habitat and trade hub. Its holding capacity and docking facilities have been taxed to their limit by the recent influx of refugees from Vasuda Prime. Two Vasudan cruisers orbit, and finally Hillross Station. Exxon Beckham Orbital Mining's headquarters in Antares, Hillross Station was built to house high-level executives and oversee gas mining operations throughout the system. You'd think they wanted one of the gas giants then. It remains an important fixture of Antares' gas mining industry despite the recent economic downturns. That's it for Antares VI. Anything between those orbits? No. Antares VII. Onward. Esperanza. This gas giant is another gas mining and gas refining hub, principally controlled by Exxon Beckham Orbital Mining. Local authorities also suspect it to be a hotbed of smuggler traffic and secret outposts, though elements in the new Shanghai government have repeatedly blocked attempts to launch a full-scale investigation of Esperanza's orbitals. Gee, shocker. Exxon Beckham Refinery 207. One of the refineries. Okay. Exxon Beckham Storage. Raw containers, yeah. Exxon Beckham's 12 gas refineries over in Esperanza. One of the refineries. Okay. San Francisco. The smaller of Esperanza's two moons, a cold, nigh-lifeless rocky ball, inhabited only by a reclusive Catholic contemplative order of 25 monks. Interesting. And St. Augustine. The larger Esperanza's two moons, a cold, lifeless rocky ball, is uninhabited by Terrans. Interesting. So Antares VII. Next orbit is the Hastings Depot. A moderately busy civilian hub in the outer reaches of the system, providing fueling and storage services to a number of small intra-system concerns. Hastings' deep space isolation makes it an ideal place for smugglers to conduct business away from prying eyes, despite occasional customs inspections by the overstretched Antares security forces. And we have... Alright, we're down to Antares VIII and the Vega jump node. Let's check. Yeah. Vega Node, unstable, travel prohibited. And finally, Antares VIII. I have no idea how long I've been doing this. Abondon, the outermost planet of the Antares system, known to locals as Empty 8. Abondon was once the center of the system's gas mining industry during the 2310s to 2320s, until its reserves of useful gases were bled dry by the exigencies of the Terran-Vasudan War. Now it only hosts a few derelict orbitals, a shadow of its former economic importance. Exxon Beckham refineries 307 and 308. Derelict. I bet you want to bet there's smugglers hanging out there. And that is that for the Antares system map. That was much more detailed than I expected it to be going in. So I'm sorry this dragged on, but I hope it gives everyone an idea. I'll try to timestamp by location in the map. I will timestamp the video by location in the map. So that is that.